The bottom line is, the Hinderer
is a piece of...
Howdy, I'm Jacob, and you're watching the Prepper's Bunker Outdoors. Today we're here to talk about the Hinderer Xm18. This one is the recurve. I want to make this video kind of short. This was sent to me by a subscriber and a friend for review. I told him I would wear it every single day in my pocket for a month, review it, and then send it back to him. And I've got to say, I didn't last a month. I really did not enjoy using the knife very much. And so I'm going to explain why, but what really put it into perspective was a cheap knife. This is the Buck 840 Sprint, I think. I don't even freaking remember. Whatever it is. And this knife helped me put into perspective what I didn't actually like about the Hinderer, despite the fact that I played with the Hinderer non-stop. Because the bottom line is, the Hinderer is a piece of excellent craftsmanship, but I don't believe it was designed with practicality in mind. It is a knife that was made to sell. So let's talk. So the first issue here is the combination of attributes of this blade, and I want to start with talking again in perspective of the Buck about the knife steel. The knife uses CPM 20 CV steel. It holds a great edge. It's plenty stainless enough for me, but it's not tough. It's a pretty fragile steel when compared to, let's just say, hard use or tougher steels in general. Now that's fine for a pocket knife because I'm not batoning this thing through a solid brick, but because it's a Hinderer and it's got to be tough for real world use, I was a firefighter and these tools are made to be used, you have to put a thicker edge on it. So I started to realize that I didn't really like cutting with this. I felt like my fixed blade knives I enjoy carrying cut better. And so what we have here is we have a premium steel that's going to get sales that's probably being used in the wrong way in the wrong knife. And so how that's brought to light for me, the Buck, right? 420HC is so much tougher than CPM 20 CV that it's not even comparable. They're literally, not figuratively, they are literally at opposite ends of the spectrum. Because of that, the Buck gets a thinner edge and it cuts better. I like my knives to cut. And so it cuts better, it does dull faster, but even when it's dull, it still does a better job for most tasks that I use a pocket knife for than does the Hinderer. So that's the edge and the blade material. Then it's obviously made out of a giant slab of titanium. It's absolutely beautiful. It's absolutely well machined. Nice, pretty nice blade centering, etc. All that stuff that some people care about. But it's kind of a heavy brick in the pocket. So although I found myself playing with it constantly, you've got a lot of square edges. I noticed that my finger would get sore from playing with this thing so much, both from the lock bar and from the flipper tab. That's a little bit silly to say, but it didn't with the Buck. The Buck is also on bearings, and honestly, it's just as much fun to play with. It's way lighter weight, it's way more comfortable to use, it's easier to sharpen, it cuts better, it makes more sense as a package, but it's not always the knife I want to carry. It's a fun knife to carry, but if I want to carry a Hinderer Xm18 size knife, I'm going to carry the Hogue RSK, also in the equivalent of 20 CV, but with a much thinner edge, so it cuts way better, and you know, it just performs way better. Or I'm going to carry the Hogue EX02, and this is 154 cm, again, better edge geometry, not as fun to play with, right? I think the term that everybody uses that's kind of gay is drop shutty. We don't really have that so much with this Hogue. I don't really care. But look, people buy knives with their eyes, and they look at specs and they look at value, and they're like, I have to have titanium. It has to be a premium steel, 20 CV or better, S35 VN or better, Maximate or bust, Rex, whatever, you know. So to get sales and to make a hard use knife, you use the wrong materials for the job and end up putting everything together in a way that looks good online. It's pretty, it looks good in pictures, but in the pocket and in hand, it's just not so great. And when it comes down to weight, I think the Hinderer is just over 5 ounces. The Buck is right around 3 ounces. The Hogue, I think, is slightly lighter than the Hinderer. Equally fun to play with, if not more fun. And the Hogue EX02 is actually even heavier than the Hinderer. But the Hogue, this Hogue EX02, rides in the pocket better because of the nice rounded micarta scales on it. It cuts better. It's a tougher design. It sharpens easier. You know, I don't know. I see this as an exceptionally beautiful, it's just a beautifully built knife with premium materials, and but using the premium materials for the task that the knife is supposed to be good for, you're putting all of these contradictions together, and what you're getting is something that's good on paper, but is it good in hand? I didn't enjoy using the knife well enough to continue carrying it. And that's pretty sad. So I think that's how we're going to wrap this up, guys. You know, there's nothing wrong with it. You know, do I still think that Rick Hinderer is a wanker for what he's doing with transparent knives? Absolutely, 100% wanker. Do I think that that affects the quality of his knives for a regular user like me? No, I think that they're great knives. I just don't think that they are knives built for the user. I think they're knives built for the sale. And that kind of sucks. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Please check out the description box below if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoy honest reviews. You know, this knife was sent to me for evaluation, and I greatly appreciate that. And guys, my supporters do so much for me. So in the description box below, we've got all of the Patreon, my businesses, affiliate links, all that crap, whatever. Check that out. And, you know, I'm pretty active in the comment section, so let me know what you think. I'm sure the Hinderer Nazis will come out in force for some reason. They've got a cult following. At this point, I don't know why. You know, I guess they attract, you know, the kind of person who doesn't necessarily care about how good something is, but cares more about what they can brag about. I feel like that's the kind of person that this knife attracts, and that's the kind of person that's kind of culty. So maybe that's why you've got the Hinderer death cult. Anyways, talk to you later. Have a blessed day.